Welcome back to Heart Path Podcast. I'm your host, Terra Kenzie Longacre, adventurer, author, transformational coach, and retreat leader. In each episode, we will explore topics around spirituality, empowerment, divine embodiment, resiliency of the human spirit, and heart-based business and beyond. In this episode, we're going to talk about soul connections. So there wasn't an episode last week, but we are coming in hot with soul connections. And this is something that has fascinated me, gosh, for years and years and years, especially with the work that I have been doing for over a decade that really is connecting people with the wisdom of their soul through the Akashic records, and things are going through transitions in my life and my world and my business. However, the journey of the soul and the intricacies of the soul's journey and relationship dynamics and all of it will forever have my heart. It's just, I've seen so many beautiful synchronicities through soul connections and just so many lessons learned for myself and clients. So when we're talking about soul connections, it's really important to say that when someone comes into your life, it's for a season, a reason, a lifetime. There are no accidents. There are no coincidences. There's just no random reason a person, aka soul, another human being, another soul is coming into your life. It is not random. It could be even like a stranger that you have a conversation with at the supermarket that shifts something in your life, in your world, your perspective. It could also be in terms of like people that you have relationships with, friendships with, anything of that nature. But nothing is random. Nothing is coincident. Nothing happens by accident. It is ordained, and I'm going to say by God, source divine, and your souls. And that's the beautiful thing, why I'm saying a season, a reason, a lifetime. Sometimes you're going to have folks come into your life for a very specific season. They're going to help you get through something that you are going in through your life. But once that starts to heal or transform, they might not necessarily be in your life anymore. Same with the season, reason. Someone comes into your life for a very specific reason, lesson, teaching, whatever that is on your soul's evolution, on their soul's evolution. They might not be there your whole life. And then you've got the lifetime where these souls or people, just come into your life and you have them around for on and on and on and on. And this could even be on that journey of the soul where you've had these connections with these other people beyond the here and now. And I feel that so strongly in my heart and in my being. We are all one. We all come from God, source divine. We all come from that infinite source of creation. We are part of the creation. And so when we're meeting other people, essentially we could be meeting other aspects of ourselves and part of that creation too. So it's not like you're meeting for the first time. And more than ever, like right now where we are, like you're no stranger to what's going on in the world, and like consciousness is expanding. More people are waking up to the fact that there is a spirit, that there is more than just being human. So many people are waking up to this and pursuing it, right? There's a difference between waking up to it and a pursuing of it. So because that is happening, like this awakening on the planet is happening, I dare to say that the people that you meet now, you have known before. It's just kind of in this, there's that expression, new soul, old soul. And to be quite honest, I don't really resonate with that. You might, and that's your experience. For me, I personally don't necessarily resonate with new soul and old soul anymore in the terms of being on planet Earth. Okay, so let's even break it down that way. Being on planet Earth, the terminology of new soul and old soul, I personally don't resonate with really at all, because I feel like right now, being on planet Earth, like there's not a lot of quote unquote new souls coming into the system, or like being here on Earth. Like it feels like, we've been here for a while and repeating cycles and patterns throughout time and space and history. So that, once again, that's my personal feeling. You might feel differently. Um, like, we can be wise, there can be wisdom beyond years, absolutely. That, and perhaps not being on planet Earth right now, yes, maybe there could be the quote unquote old soul, new soul. But I feel like, even though there's so much chaos and havoc, and destruction on Earth right now, this is not your first rodeo. Everybody here, like, it's not. Once again, my personal take, my personal beliefs here, it's not the first rodeo. So I believe there are a lot of seasoned soul spirit here at this time. So once again, like, there's no accidents, there's no coincidences. Everyone that you have met, even like your family, you're with your family for a reason. These people are in your life for a reason. These souls are in your life for a reason. Your friends, all of it is all ordained. Could we say that again? It is all ordained. And you have people come in and out of your life, like what I'm saying, a season, a reason, a lifetime. You will have people come into your life, and they will play such an important role for you. And perhaps you will go into someone's life and play such an important role for them. So when we are talking about soul evolution and our own personal journeys of being human and living life and going through all of the experiences, like the highs, the lows, everything in between, like, it's so amazing to be here and to have this life and to be human. And yes, it's not always easy. God, God, sometimes you like maybe pull your hair out saying, what's going on? It's not always easy, but what a gift. What a gift it is here to be able to go through all these different experiences that could feel like a boot camp, that could be exciting and elating, all of it. And then the connections that are formed, the soul, I want to say reunions. We could say connections, but it just feels like soul reunions. These people that are in our lives, we know on a very deep, intimate soul level, even the strangers that you talk to in random passing. I've had so many amazing conversations with quote unquote, random strangers that have just like shaken me to my core, in the depths of my being, where you meet and it's like, oh my gosh, I know you. I don't know how I know you, but like, we're on the same frequency, the same resonance. There's just that connection, and you don't even know them. They are a stranger. So it's just, there's more of these soul reunions that are happening. So we could say soul connections, but they really are, especially now where we are on the planet in the evolution of humanity, they are reunions. And they're going to be happening much more. They're going to be happening much more than they have ever been. And so to keep that in mind, it's like people are going to come into your lives, into your world, and there will be lessons, there will be blessings, there will be activations that take place as well. And when I'm saying the word activation, think of it almost as something within your being, a memory, a part of your soul that might not have fully been online comes online. So when I'm saying an activation, it's not necessarily magical and mystical, and it could be, but it's more of something that was lying dormant within you, or something that was offline comes online. Something within you is activated by this other soul coming into your life and into your world. And and once again, like even these soul reunions that we have, they could form friendships, they could form lovers, partnerships, they could form like many different dynamics that happen from them, or they're coming through for a very specific teaching or a learning for your soul. I had a history, oh my gosh, in relationships, I had a history of being the runner. Like I'm a leave, like, but in the moment it's just like I'm not happy, I'm leaving, or this isn't working, I'm leaving, like ooh, serial runner. But at the same time, like if you peel back the layers of, oh, there's an abandonment wound here, leaving before getting hurt, right, or hurting others so you don't get hurt, like just all of this stuff going on in the subconscious. But that didn't really get activated until having a soul reunion with another person, and the series of events that happened, it was like, whoa, whoa, hello, I see you now. Isn't that amazing how that happens? Even for me personally, Akashic records and career path that transformed was from a soul reunion with someone where we were just talking about the Akashic records. I had heard about it before, like wanted to get a reading. Nothing felt, like I just, when you know, and when you know. And there was nobody that spoke to me to explore that. And then talking to this person, and they had a reading. I'm like, I want a reading with that. Like it was just this domino effect of how that went to find the person that I felt comfortable with bearing my soul to, which then in turn turned into a mentorship, which then blossomed into me helping to support others along their path of connecting to their spirits, and now ultimately tapping into that divine source that God, whatever we want to call it, that we're all connected to. So it's just to know that every person that we come into contact with is here for a reason. And sometimes it can be sad because you can have connections with people, but maybe that's not the contract, maybe they're not in your life anymore, and that might not be part of the contract. And so sometimes we can take things to heart, or you'd wish that they would still be in your life, but it might not be part of the contract. Perhaps part of that assignment was to come, I'm going to meet you, like think of it this way: I'm going to meet you, you're going to activate me, I'm going to activate you, and then we go on our way. Like that's how it can be. This is something that's really important to remember as well. We have free will. We come here, we've got all of these different paths that we're on. Each individual person, their soul has all these different paths and choices and directions that you can choose to go. And being guided by God, source divine, having other external disturbances to cause distractions to keep you not focused can happen too. But you get to choose. You get to choose if you're going to go left or right. You get to choose it all, which is the beautiful thing. However, because of that, sometimes souls can have arrangements or agreements with each other, and the contract isn't fulfilled. I have a memory of someone that I worked with, and it really left an impression with me, and that reminder of the power of free will, because it was between them and another person. They had started a relationship, an intimate relationship that was long distance in the very beginning. It's like they were in completely different continents. Like that sort of thing. They had met, and that can happen too. It's like you just quote unquote randomly meet people, like and but there's distance, of course, always, it seems. I've had that happen. I'm like, we're meeting, but now we're being kept apart because there's something else here. But yeah, so they were on different continents. But the interesting thing was, they had this contract or this agreement or this assignment to actually be together, to work together, to join together as a couple. and to be in a sacred union. However, there was so much turmoil going on in that other person's life. And even for them, it was almost like because of their free will, they forgot the contract and the assignment, but that other person involved in it felt it so deeply. And it hurt them so deeply because on that subconscious, soul conscious level, they knew. They knew. It's like, we are supposed to be together. We're supposed to be in sacred union. WTF, shake, shake, shake. We're supposed to be together, but why do you keep choosing this? What's happening? Why do you keep choosing this? So it really got to them and like dagger straight to the heart, because they could feel it, but they didn't understand. And then them coming into this awareness of the free will, and that that other person involved, it's not that they didn't remember the agreement, but they didn't honor the agreement, right? So they were choosing something else, because we do have amnesia when we come here, but on a soul level, and you feel, and sometimes it might not make sense. So that was just an interesting experience that I'll always remember from working with that client, because they knew so strongly in their being, and they remembered. But then this other person, it's like they were not honoring the agreement that they had made as souls, when they were coming here, when it was like, hey, I'm gonna meet you here and you're gonna meet me here, and then we're gonna do the thing. And they started doing the thing, but then they weren't doing the thing. And that's free will. That is free will. And something that's interesting, though, there's no, no mistakes, so to speak. But as we're speaking, there are these different paths that you can be on. And some paths will lead you to chaos and destruction. And some paths are going to lead you closer to God, source, divine, closer to your highest potential and who you came to be here as a soul. And sometimes those paths that lead to destruction are like this downward spiral, and then they spring you forward and catapult you into that highest potential timeline. But at the end of the day, we all have a choice. So this is an invitation for you to even sit within your heart and reflect of the people that you have in your life right now, the relationships that you have in your life right now, and what are those dynamics, right? What are the dynamics that are playing between you, between them? What is the role that you have in their life? What is the role that they have in your life? And even some of those other connections that aren't around anymore. What was that dynamic? I'll share a story. Now that we're speaking about this, this was a long time ago, but there was a relationship that I had, and can I just say, like, in another lifetime, like, ooh, wild woman. And before, I actually used to hold a lot of shame for it, even though I have a tattoo that says no, ain't no shame in my game. Like, I got in the wild days, I got a tattoo that says ain't no shame in my game. But when I came out of the wild days, I was feeling a little bit shameful. However, have worked with that more. I've worked with that more, because it's like it's on my arm. It is tattooed, etched in my skin for life. However, in those wild days, ooh, man eater. Hey, man eater. Oh my gosh, lock up your sons, lock up your daughters, lock up everybody. Okay, like that's kind of that was my steez. But there, I did meet my match. Ooh, I did meet my match, and that was a very karmic, very karmic relationship. And the first time, so this was an interesting thing. I had gone through my life really not respecting men, not appreciating men, exploiting men. Like, so I have to be very active that that's something that can come up within me, that I'm always aware of, because that was kind of the way in which that I walked in the world, and I didn't feel bad. Like, I didn't have shame. You know, as you learn and as you grow, you kind of understand where things take root. But I definitely exploited men. I did not respect men. I was like a queen and a goddess, and you better worship me. That was the mentality. And I don't even know if I asked for it. I think it just happened. I feel like I received a lot of that treatment. And yeah, like it did go to my head because that's the way I was treated. I took it and ran with it. However, when I say I met my match, oh, karma. If we're going to talk like the concept of karma, yes, 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 tenfold. Did I ever pay for all those times? And that was a wake up call of like, wow, girl, like you can't be like that. Like this is not appropriate behavior. This And so that was a wake up call with that soul, where talk about mirrors. Talk about mirrors where you literally have someone in front of you playing out all of that. It was a lot. What a whirlwind. What a whirlwind. That just was very messy. But like things changed after that. After that relationship, things changed. I changed. Could we just say after that relationship, I changed. I got sober. I got clean. I got sober. I completely shifted my friend group. Like I shifted everything in my life and my world. Like it was just like all of the that which had happened in that relationship, and just like the divine retribution. I will call it divine retribution. And can I say, I'm not even mad. I am not even mad, because it will come back to you. What you put out will come back to you. You put out lies, deception, vile behaviors out into the world, it's going to come back to you. You put out loving kindness and gentleness, patience, peace into the world, it will come back to you. That was a perfect example of having a mirror, and a perfect example of a catalyst that reignited that inner knowing that what was going on was not me, and everything changed. And even, you know, we'll have these patterns that keep repeating, right? Because then you might find yourself leaving that relationship and getting into a cycle of another toxic relationship. It's not about the person. Could we just even say this too? It's not about the person. What within you still needs to be looked at? What within you still needs to be addressed? That you're continuing to choose that. So we have these soul connections that I look at it almost as, envision yourself standing in a field. Okay, so you're here standing in the field. To the left, there's a pit that goes down, 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 down. And then to the right, you've got stairways that go up, you know, or like stairways to heaven. I don't know how we want to do the analogy, but to the left, you've got a pit that goes down. To the right, you've got a staircase. And you're going to have souls that come into your life and into your world with these situations that are either going to, you know, you bring your hand, you put your hand down into the pit, maybe to bring them up to your level, or you willingly go down to the pit. Or likewise, you can go up the stairs, you can ascend into a more meaningful, purposeful, higher potential version of yourself or timeline for yourself. But we always get to choose. And sometimes, you know, since people are such great mirrors for us, and it, once again, the season, a reason, a lifetime, like maybe somebody comes into your life and it's not meant to be anything more than for that moment where they show you a glimmer of your potential, right? You look at them in the eyes and they're mirroring back what is a potential to you. And that's the beautiful thing too. Like, what a gift is that too, to know what is possible for you, even if it's just for that fleeting moment where you see God, that divine spark, that divine essence in another. But at the same time, as you see God, that divine spark and that divine essence in another, it's being reflected back to you. And they're seeing that divinity within them. And even just that essence of love. When you see God, source, divine spirit in another human being, you're seeing love in another human being, and you're reflecting that divine love back to another. And what if no one's felt lovable? What if somebody hasn't felt lovable or desirable in a really long time? They don't even view themselves that way, respected, appreciated, and then that gets to be mirrored back. What a beautiful gift that is. Once again, even if for a fleeting moment. I even just think of so many times just meeting people and conversations where you connect with them on a different level. When I'm saying everybody that you know, you've known, but you have that, it's like that home frequency, there's that resonance where you just, and sometimes it's online. We're in the age of social media. I'm just reflecting a lot on, those personal encounters that you have in real life where you just, maybe you don't vibe or resonate at right away, but you're talking and then it's just like, talking more? Who are you? Oh my God, tell me more, tell me more. And then just bouncing back the stories, and it's so beautiful. And you even acknowledge that what's happening between you is special, right? Because you know that you might not meet another you or another part of you in the world like that. And that's what I love. And I love people. I absolutely, in my heart of hearts and the deepest part of my being, I love people. I love to hear their stories, their experiences. I just like strangers. I just love it. I feel so blessed to do what I do for a living because I get to hear people's stories and their experiences and just be that ear for them and the heart for them, and to share as well, to support. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But I digress. So we really have to cherish those connections that we have, as wonderful and amazing as they can be, or as painful. Like I said, like that one relationship where it was like, woo, karma, woo. I'm not even mad because like it needed to happen. It needed to happen. Like I most likely, in the way that I changed my ways, I most likely wouldn't have changed my ways in the succession that it happened. Perhaps if that person didn't come in, because sometimes people will come in literally to play the villain, or you're going to come in to play the villain in someone's story, and it's not because you're evil and the villain. It's like, no, on a soul level, you love someone so much that you said, yes, I'm going to help you learn this lesson. I'm going to help you learn to love yourself. I'm going to help you learn to stand up for yourself. I'm going to help you learn to follow God, source divine. I'm going to, whatever these stories are, right? So, like, it's not coming from a place where the intention is harm, even though harm might happen. On a soul level, there's so much love. So if you're the villain in someone's story, if someone's the villain in your story, ultimately, and I know this can be hard to fully grasp, because there can be just such heinous things that happen. So I get that, and this could feel triggering to someone. So I'm just also acknowledging that, and I understand how it could feel triggering, and we're not going to disregard it. We're going to be straight up here. However, some situations on a soul level, removing the human, removing the story, and knowing that God, source divine, allows everything to happen That's also something hard to wrap your mind around. It's allowed to happen. It's coming from a place of love, like in that underlying soul to soul, for the greater good of your soul's evolution, to get you closer to returning to that divine source that we all come from. It's coming from a place of love. So yeah, a season, a reason, a lifetime, a lesson, a blessing, a curse, all of it. But we learn from it. We either learn or we don't. And then another messenger will come, because that's another piece of it. It's just like another messenger will come into your life. You don't get the lesson's going to keep playing itself out until you get it. So a different messenger will come. And that's not a threat. That's a promise, okay? Season, a reason, a lifetime. Lots of love. Thank you for listening to today's episode. And before you go, I wanted to offer an opportunity for reflection and contemplation. Was there anything in this episode that inspired you that you can use in your life moving forward? If so, what was it? Was there something that came up in this episode that had you feeling uncomfortable, perhaps charged, even triggered? Was there anything that was brought up in this episode that made you feel seen and understood? Taking a moment to bring those reflections into the sacred space of the heart. Or if you have a journal, you can share those reflections in there. And I would love to hear how this episode impacted you. You can reach out to me in the DMs on social media. I would love to hear. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share with a friend, like, subscribe. I appreciate you. Lots of love. Mwah.